Namaskaram, Shri Matre Namaha. Let's begin. Om बीजपूरगदेक्षकर्मकुरजापचक्राब्जपाशोत्पल प्रियग्रस्वपुषानरत्नकलशैः प्रोद्यत्कराम्भोरुवः ध्येयो वल्लभया च पद्मकरया आश्लिष्टोज्ज्वलद्भूषया विश्वोत्पत्तिविपत्तिसंस्तुतिकरो विघ्नेश इष्टार्दधः श्रीनाथादिगुरुत्रयं गणपतिं पीठत्रयं भैरवं सिद्धौघं वटुकत्रयं पदयुगं दूतीक्रमं मण्डलम् वीरान्ध्यष्टचतुष्कषष्टिनवकं वीरावळीपञ्चकं श्रीमन्मालिनिमन्त्रराजसहितं वन्दे गुरोर्मण्डलम् मातर्मे मधुकैटभग्निमहिषः प्राणापहारोद्यमे हेलनिर्मितधूम्रलोचनवदे हे चण्डमुण्डर्धिनी निःशेषे कृतरक्तबीजदनुजे नित्ये निशुम्भापहे शुम्भध्वंसिनि संहरा सुदुरितन् दुर्गे नमस्तेऽम्बिके सर्वं श्रीचण्डी महालक्ष्मी श्रीपादुकां पूजयामि तर्पयामि नमः सद्गुरुं श्रीपादुकां पूजयामि तर्पयामि नमः. Welcome once again, all of you, for this Saturday special classes which we have been conducting in our Maha Vidyalaya. And today is a part of the Sādhaka series uh, where I talk about many practical insights of being a sadhaka from a theoretical point of view and also from a practical perspectives. And every Saturday, we also have guest lecturers or other speakers coming and joining us. Last week, if you remember, it was a senior student, Dakshinamurti, joined, and he gave the perspective of being a sadhaka from a practitioner's point of view. Next week, let me let you all know that we'll be having a psychologist coming and speaking to us actually, and he's basically a counselor, and he has written a very nice book which I have read, When the Soul Heals, which is published by Aurobindo Ashram. And uh, Shri Pulkit Sharma from Pondicherry will be joining us next week for a very special guest lecture, exactly the same timing, the Saturday 9 p.m. So Saturdays are basically to walk the talk. It's not just about, you keep projecting yourself something very different, but you are internally something different, and you are a very different person in a different space. Though we accept and embrace that differences that are there actually, because unlike the other schools of thoughts within the Sanatana Dharma, we do not reject our personality actually. That is what the beauty of Sri Vidya and Tantra is all about actually. We accept ourselves as what we are, but at the same time we seek what is called as transformation actually. So that is the uh, one of the beautiful part of learning tantra or practicing tantra. And I think because of this only, there is a lot of ifs and buts that are there associated with the concept of what is called as tantra. And I think that's the reason in South India, very specifically or sophisticatedly, our acharyas have thought about it maybe many, many years ago, maybe hundreds or maybe more than, like, not hundred, like maybe more than 1,000 years ago, I guess. Like, let us call it a Sri Vidya, actually. Like it will be easy for people to, get into it, actually. That's what I always keep thinking about it. So today's topic is another interesting concept, I guess, because the sadhaka, money, wealth, fear, and spiritual balance. I will try to justify as much as possible, and this is something which you all can talk about, because some most of you are like elder to me by age and experience, family life, and so much is there. So whatever I speak, if it is resonating with you all, welcome. If it is not resonating, you can think about it, you can let me know about it through your comments that we will be writing as reflections as a part of this session, after the class. And also, if there is any extended thoughts which you would like to share, that would be very interesting to know. So let me get into the theoretical perspectives as how I actually made my notes. So I'll go through my entire note to the different points that I've thought about this lecture that I'm going to deliver to all of you. First and the foremost thing, straightforward answer, money is important to us. Without money, we cannot do anything. Correct? Money is important. And Sri Vidya and Tantra is not rejecting money. Sri Vidya or Tantra is not rejecting money. It is not rejecting wealth. It is not rejecting family life. Or it is definitely not rejecting the worldly responsibilities that we are having here. This is very clearly, it is across all the acharas. If you take Dakshinachara, Vamachara, Kaulachara, Samyachara, or any of the acharas, not none of the acharas, I mean the schools of thoughts within Tantra, they reject it actually. In fact, Sri Vidya or Tantra is so against even what is called as the system of sannyasa. The sannyasa system doesn't go well with the Sri Vidya theories. It is actually technically meant for householders or people living in this world, actually, typically trying to live a part of this world, actually, very, very specifically. So, if that is the case, if that this is the central premise of our today's discussion, then we have to understand this entire concept in a very vivid manner. That is, wealth is not opposed to spirituality. Number one. Number two, bondage arises not from possessing wealth. Please understand this. Let me tell you, bondage arises not from possessing wealth, but from allowing wealth to possess our mind, actually. When you allow the wealth to possess your mind, then the problem is coming in. And when the wealth is going to possess your mind, immediately two things will come into existence. One is fear, and the other one is desire. Correct? Correct, na? Yes or no? So, from the Sri Vidya theories, the larger theories, if you have to look into the various aspects of the Sri Chakra theoretical understanding that is coming from Bhavana Upanishad, or it is from Tripura Rahasya, or any of these Atharvasirish Upanishad, any of these texts, when we try to understand them deeply and trying to connect with our lives, we understand that material life and spiritual life is not separate domains, actually. They are not separate domains. The same Devi who is worshipped as Maha Tripura is experienced as Shrihi. That is abundance, nourishment, order, beauty, and auspiciousness. Therefore, if this Mahatripura Sundari is the one who is Shri, then the question is whether we all who are trying to aspire to be sadhakas should have money, you know, or but when money is being governed, you know, by our what is called as our desire, or when it possesses our mind, then the issue is there actually. But if the same money, if it is governed by what is called as dharma, when the money is governed by dharma, then two things will immediately happen in the sadhaka's life. When the money is governed by dharma, then there will be viveka, and that vivekam will definitely lead to Devi's consciousness. That is, that vivekam will make us to understand the Shiva Shakti Aikya Tattvam in a much better manner. So when I spoke about let me expand this more. So when I spoke about fear, so let us directly hit to the question. Why does money create fear actually? Why does money create fear? You know, we we need money for what actually? because of uncertainty which can happen. We think about certain uncertainties. We fear of that social prestige or that social image, yes or no? That I need to wear a better dress for the cousin's wedding, actually, I should pattu chera katkone illala. That pattu chera should be the costliest one as compared to anybody who's wearing there. So, like, we all have these, the fear of losing status, actually. There's a status that is involved. Fear of being dependent, actually. If I don't have money, I have to depend on somebody, actually. That dependency, our own people, where we say, I love them so much and without them, I can't live, but we don't want to be dependent upon them. That's a very harsh reality. Yes or no? Correct? We are not at all judging ourselves. That is what is life all about. I'm just talking about the life actually here. Next, fear of aging, illness. Something happens to my health. What happens? I need money for that. Correct? Or maybe the fear of not having enough of money. I need more money because of maybe if I want to do something, I need money, right? So I want more money. Like I have everything. I have all the basic necessities by Devi's grace, but maybe I need more because if at all there is something I want to desire more or want to buy more or something, I need more. Or last one is the worst thing. My brother, my sister, my cousin, my friend XYZ has more than me, therefore I also want more than them actually. 1 rupee extra I have to make. Yes or no? Correct, na? So, Tantra is asking one simple question to all of us. Tantra is asking, observe the samskara behind all these fears. What is the samskara behind all these fears? Rather than merely increasing the external possessions, it's fine. Okay, you all these that we discuss, these pointers, they are all the truths in a way. But what is the reality behind them actually? The same reality when I was saying if I'm going to wear a normal cotton sari and go to that same marriage, not wearing a pattu chira, what will happen actually? You know, is that others, those who are going to talk about me, they're going to feed me? Are the ones they are going to take care of me? So what is this perception of thoughts that we have constructed within ourselves is what Tantra is asking us to question actually. Tantra is not rejecting you to wear a patsari. Tantra is not rejecting that wealth, but Tantra is raising that question to us actually. Why this thought is there within you? Why you think like this? You know, it's going to the rationality of your thought process actually. It's fine. You do whatever you feel like. You do whatever you feel like. But what is the rationality behind it? Do you have a rationality? And the moment when we go to rationality, that rationality will definitely stand upon what is called as our swadharma. Our swadharma. Hmm? Correct, na? So when we talk about swadharma, let us take this point that we spoke on the fear of aging and illness. Okay. When we go to this concept, if we all have perhaps known that everybody's aging, every moment we are all aging, and one or the other time we all have to quit the body. There's no doubt about it, actually. But why fear? Why there is a fear? Have you ever thought about it? And Tantra is asking this question to us. If you have adequately surrendered to Devi, then will that fear be there? Will we fear illness? Will we fear death? So answer is coming out, yes or no. So this is what Tantra is trying to teach us actually. So you fix these rational, you get into this rationality. So when I spoke about Swadharmam, it will take here, it will take back to Devi's consciousness actually. And when it goes to Devi, all these questions will be totally defeated. Yes or no? Correct, na? Let's move further. I introduced the word Shri, wealth as Shri, as sacred abundance. When we speak about Shri, the only thing that strikes our mind is money. Correct or not? And the next thing is gold and silver, maybe, or maybe platinum. That is all only Shri we can think about. Yes or no? Yes or no? Tell me. Correct, na? But in Tantra, in Shri Vidya, Shri is not merely the financial prosperity. In Shri Vidya, our health, knowledge, time, supportive relationships, contentment. This is a very rare word in today's time. Discernment, the capacity to give. It's not only receiving, but also to give. And last but not the least, inner and outer harmony. This is all understood to be prosperity, actually. A person may possess great wealth, you know, and still be so much deprived in these dimensions, actually. Another aspect is that we may live simple, but we are so much of fullness, we are so much with dignity, we are so much with grace. First one is good or the second one is good? Yes or no? With all humility, I'm saying this Mahavidyalaya in itself is a great wealth in each one of your life, actually. This, it's actually the prosperity. I do not know how many of you actually realize this. It's exactly sitting with the Shastra Vakyam, actually. Shri He. It's giving the knowledge, it is supporting you, it is giving you contentment, it is giving you discernment, it is the capacity to give, it is bringing in what's called as inner and outer harmony. Overall, because of all these things, your health is also improving. Your mental and physical health is also improving, actually, including your emotional health, actually. So this is the concept of actually Shri. And when my Gurunatha used to talk about, when we talk about Shri actually in terms of money, he used to say that that money which is which is being, which is earned in, not in the proper means, not earned through dharma, number one, or earned but not being spent, actually not being spent. I'm knowing people, like parents are not ready to give things to their children. Children are not ready to give it to their parents. You understand all these things that is happening. They might have a number of reasons. I'm not getting into the reasons. When I'll get into the reason, everybody will try to justify themselves. But that is the truth. And ultimately, at the end of the day, whatever it is. But they just want that accumulation of wealth because of this fear, actually, because of this fear. Then that wealth loses what is called as that Shri Tattvam, it seems, actually. Totally, it actually loses its Shri Tattva. In the South India, we have this common habit of accumulating a lot of jewelry, women particularly, And my Gurunatha used, I never give these kind of ideas because I have seen that my Gurunatha is giving ideas for the last generation, but this generation, even if you give any ideas, they don't take it up actually. So I've stopped giving all these ideas, but it's coming now because when I prepared for this lecture, he used to say at least yearly twice to take out those jewels from the locker or the cupboard to wear it because they buy jewels, they don't even wear it actually. And that jewels in itself will bring in what is called as negative energy, it seems, actually accumulated jewels. And those jewels need to be worn, it seems, so that the nullification of those negativity, that elements will not come out of it seems, when it touches the body. When it doesn't touch the physical body, it actually, it actually brings out that negative energies and vibrations to the entire family, it seems. Accumulated gold. So gold here in itself, so what is happening is that wealth in itself is becoming a burden, actually. That money which is not used for the right cause or the right time, or from earned from the right dimensions, it is losing what is called as that lakshmitvam, actually. There is no lakshmitvam there, actually. It might look like we are immediate winners at that point of time, or that XYZ person is an immediate winner, but the kind of consequences that is waiting is very different for them, actually. It might be not now, but it is there, actually. It is just waiting. It is just like hitting a ball on the wall. The ball might be somewhere else, but definitely that ball will come back, actually. So, Lakshmi must retain to the connectedness of Dharma, actually. So, wealth becomes auspicious only when it supports the legitimate responsibilities, the family and community well being, when it is used for education and preserving knowledge, when it is used for seva, as it is prescribed in the Shastras, what we call basically dana dharmam, actually, where we have to give, which will bring in what is called as a life of integrity and dignity, actually. A life of integrity and dignity. So, therefore, to make it much more easier for you all to understand, when wealth becomes disconnected from dharma, then it leads to misunderstanding in relationships, it leads to greed, it leads to comparison, it leads to exploitation, and it ultimately leads to fear. You have to know two things when I'm talking about this. If it belongs to you, it belongs to you. It cannot go anywhere, actually. Anything for that fact. Even if you want it to go, it will not go. Let it be money, let it be relationships, let it be anything in this on this earth. If it is not meant to you, it is not meant for you, actually. You have to understand this, or Tantra will make you to understand this. If you really you want to walk on the path of sadhana, this is the first lesson Devi will teach you. Look, it's not your likes and dislikes, it is my likes and dislikes, actually. Because I am a super intelligent person. You are not even intelligent. You are just a monkey. Today you will say you like this, tomorrow you will exactly say you didn't like that, actually. Today you will ask for this, tomorrow you will ask for this. But when I say something, I maintain that for not the line, but for Janma Janmas, I will maintain until you reach Sripuram, actually. So if you really want me, or rather, if I really want you, then nothing will happen based on what you want. What I want, only that will happen. The persons who should remain in your life, they will only remain. What you should get, you will get only that. What you deserve, you will get that. Or if you want something more, maybe I can think about it actually. But I can't promise I will give you, because I have a different plan for you. You are not ready to understand. You are a child. You will cry. You will howl. You will shout. That's all fine. I am a mother. I can undergo all that. But at the end of the day, you are dependent on me. I will take care of you. Simple. So that super intelligence is technically divided into three ways for Devi. What is that? Icha Shakti, Kriya Shakti, and Jnana Shakti. She functions like that in a life of a sadhaka. So if it is coming from her to us, so what will happen to us until we reach the Devi's consciousness? Because we are now all suffering with this Sai Srinivas consciousness, right? I'm like, yesterday was so beautiful, let me tell you. Like, from morning to evening, I didn't think about anything. I didn't look into my phone, into anything. I was just updating you people in our community. Just everything was Devi around, that was nice actually, in a way. There was nothing else to think from my point of view actually. Everything was Devi's point of view. I wish every moment was like that, in a way. Like, that is what is the abhyasa that is going on. That is the transformation, or that is the work that is going on. So when it comes from Devi's consciousness to me consciousness, when we talk about me, there's always that goes on here. And where from there we get a time where, like, for a micro mini second, we can think like Devi, or when we think about it, therefore we become Devi. So when that gap is there, how does this Icha Shakti, Kriya Shakti, and Jnana Shakti will work? From the point of money, let us think about it. Icha Shakti, the Icha Shakti should actually question us, why do I genuinely want money for, actually, if it is all about really money? Because money is a very practical thing we are discussing. So that from the gap of the Devi's consciousness to the consciousness of we all as individuals, if it is money, we should ask this question, it seems, to ourselves. If it is about Jnana Shakti, do I understand my resources, obligations, and limitations actually? Resources, obligations, and limitations. And from a Kriya Shakti point of view, am I acting with discipline, responsibility, and consistency? If this is what I desire, nobody is stopping me. Okay, fine, I am not qualified to achieve certain dimensions in my life, but I want something. Fine, fair enough. But am I really acting to that? You know, am I really disciplined, responsible, or consistent to that? If that is not the case, then that is not meant for us actually. We are simply fooling ourselves and wasting our time. That is what the Shastras are actually talking to us. Fate is something else. You know, fate is something else. But beyond fate, you can achieve things. In Tamil, we have something so beautiful. And I heard this being said by Jayendra Saraswati Swamigal from Kanchi Mat. Once I went to have darshan of Swamiji, and Swamiji said this: Vidiyai Madiyal Vellalam, in Tamil. Like, what is written here? You can definitely work out with the intelligence that you have, actually. You don't have to stop that this is written in my head, so therefore I will sit with that. But there is that condition is there. Vidiyai Madiyal Vellalam. Which Madi he's talking about, which intelligence he's talking about? He was talking about the Madi of Kamakshi, the Mati, that is the intelligence of Kamakshi, actually. That is what. She is the intelligent there, actually. So if she thinks, this will completely be erased and she can rewrite it again for us, actually, what is actually written here. So it is not our intelligence. So if we have to acquire that intelligence, that is what is called as Devi's consciousness, then we should walk in this path of sadhana. So therefore, Imbalances appears where desire is stronger, but knowledge and actions are actually weak. Spiritual balance arises when all these three aspects of Shakti that we discussed function together. It has to function together. That is our Icha Shakti, Jnana Shakti, and Kriya Shakti. If it functions together, then you would have all heard this particular term, called as the universe is conspiring it for me, actually. Yes? Then that happens, it seems. Then the universe will conspire for you. Simply, the universe will not conspire, actually. Icha Shakti, Kriya Shakti, and Jnana Shakti should come together, actually. We should be able to bring those powers together, actually. The three dimensions, when it come together, then the universe will be able to conspire for you. And that is what it is not written for me, but it came to me with the intelligence or the higher dimensions that I developed for myself. So all those who think, like, I mean, why should a upasaka or why should somebody doing sadhana should acquire wealth? The Shastras at the foundational level, it talks about there are four pillars are there for our human life. The first one is dharma, and the very next is artha. Okay, and from artha it is leading to kamam, and after kamam only it is coming to moksham. Here kamam is known as the desire, actually, and that desire can be achieved only through artha, but the foundation is dharma. It is scaffolding, please understand. Dharma is the foundation. From dharma artha is coming up. Okay, from artha only kama is going. But what we are all doing, we are all immediately jumping to kamam, actually. Desire. My desire, I want it. Fair enough. But where is the dharmam? Where is the artham? If they are there, then only the kamam part will work out, right? Therefore, what is happening? Dissatisfied souls suffering with kamam, neither able to go back nor able to reach moksham, actually. So the sadhaka does not or should not abandon the purusharthas, actually. The sadhaka might have what is called as a permutation and combination of karma that he or she might be undergoing for various reasons, but the foundation remains dharma. We will look into the karma, the theory of karma in the next sadhaka series. But as of now, that's also another very interesting topic, actually. But anyway, unless and until we are not focusing on these four pillars, if it is not scaffolding, it is very difficult for us to proceed from one dimension to the other. So when our individuality is actually working, this is what Devi is expecting, that we walk through these four aspects, actually, so that she can take over us, actually. We walk on what is called as dharmam, artham, kamam, and moksham. That way she is expecting us to move, because that is what is the shastra vakyam. And that is then she is there, actually. You understand what I'm trying to say? Then it is easy for her to work on us, actually. We haven't done what is called as the required homework, and we go and ask the teacher to give me a better grade, means where the teacher will give. At least you should have written something, right? If you're not written the assignment, you have not done the anything, means what the teacher will do, actually. Is it similarly we put that same situation, Devi, actually. We don't follow the foundations, but we expect her to do everything to us, actually, including all kinds of miracles. We don't really think about what is that picture. You don't have to put 1,000 tons of flowers. You would have just offered her one glass of water and she would have taken it so seriously. I'm telling you that she will be thinking about this. As if you have offered some devamritam you have offered to her, she will be feeling for that, it seems. See, like what he has done to me. Like that. Here we will be giving our entire life to the next person who is sitting with us, but they will not even realize about us actually. You would have just given her one glass, no, forget about one glass, one udrani of jalam you would have given to her with that great bhavna. And she will be thinking about that for lifetimes, it seems. And she will use that as a cause to break all the rules that is existing in the scriptures to bring you to Shri. That one act actually. And we have a number of stories to prove this. Until recent 200-300 years before, like the very famous and the accepted story of Abhirami Bhattar in Tirukadayur actually. After that, also many stories would have happened, but like we don't know. Because it has to be applied by the scripture, it has to be accepted by great sages and everything. It comes through that point actually. So Artha must be guided by Dharma, Kama must be refined by awareness, and both must ultimately support the journey towards moksha. Let me introduce another technical term here. Aparigraha. Aparigraha, that is non-possessiveness. Non-possessiveness, please understand, non-possessiveness means it is not that you don't have anything. That is something else. You have everything, but still how you can be detached from everything actually. You know, it means your identity, please make a note of this. Your identity, your security, your self-worth is not based on the possessions you are having. If it is based on them, then you have to really think about yourself. This is a very practical way to judge ourselves. If you, as an individual, if you are going to be judged by your identity, your security, and your self-worth from the possessions that you're having, if anybody who is going to judge you based on that, then we have to really think about that relationship. We have to really think about that social status that we have, and we have to really think what kind of a person I am actually. So the best thing is this particular thing is there with me, or I am there with that thing or that person until a period of time. Until that period of time, I will do my best in everything that I am supposed to do. But it is not a part of the eternal identity that I have with that person or with that thing actually. You understand? I will enjoy thoroughly. I will do everything that is proper, appropriate. Everything is fine. But it is not going to define who am I actually, or my eternality of who am I, because my eternality is something so different. It is not based on the relationship that I'm having actually. Yesterday, out of the 16 Suhasinis we selected, receive the Tambulam, where I invited to receive the Tambulam, out of 16 of them, 4 of them have lost their husbands actually. But I invited them, I offered them 2 or 3 of them, 2 of them, I forcefully offered haldi and kumkumam to them, actually, saying that this is your mother's house. You are born here. And when you were born, you were having haldi and kumkum. It is not a part of the identity of your married life, actually. I am not doing any social revolution or anything like that. You don't have to really think me like that. That is the truth, actually. So I gave them the same status, the same offerings, the same respect, the same blessings, or I received the blessings from them in the same way who was married also. So there is a clearly it is given in the Lalita Sahasranamam Suvasini Archana Prityartha only. There, Lalita is not saying Sumangali Archana Prityartha actually. Sumangali is the one who is married actually. Suhasini is one who is beyond that identity of being a married woman actually. How can I judge somebody? Because when Devi herself is not judging anybody's identity, how dare that I can judge or anybody else who can judge? This is the first foremost quality of doing sadhana actually. So I'm saying that we are following that principles. That's the reason I'm telling you actually. Out of the 16, four of them have lost their husbands. But we call them because that kind of space they think they have lost, or they are not going to receive what is called as this haldi kumkum anywhere actually. And they were literally in tears actually. And one of the amma who came, she was not ready to wear the bangles. I forced myself. I went to her and I made her to wear bangles. Actually, you are supposed to wear these bangles. These are Devi's prasadam actually for you. You don't have to think anywhere wrong. This is nothing wrong. So here, that Shritvam is based on their identity. It is not from the external identity that they derived from that relationship of being married or not married or widowed or anything. You understand what I'm trying to say? Which is very important for us to think from these dimensions actually. Think, act through these dimensions. So, money, therefore, is definitely a Shakti. What Shakti it is? It is a Shakti in terms of money is only Shakti when it circulates, it seems. Chanchalaha Dhana Shakti. It has to rotate, it seems. You understand? Like every Shakti, it can nourish or disturb depending upon how it is obtained, how it is held, and how it is directed. Like any Shakti. So, therefore, when we look into money as a Shakti, then we clearly understand that, as I told you, thus this money is creating freedom or greater bondage, is what we have to really ask ourselves actually. Or does the circulation, whatever I have, when I'm doing it, is it is it really helping me to flourish, or it is making me to remain in frozen and fear? This is also something we have to ask ourselves actually. Thus, earning, spending, saving, and giving can all becomes a part of sadhana if we really look money from this perspective. When we look into this particular concept from the perspective of the Shri Chakra, Shri Chakra doesn't divide our existence into what is called as the sacred and the worldly fragments, thankfully. There is nothing called as what is called as a purity versus pollution. It doesn't really differentiate like that, because everything is within that, and everything is within us actually. All purity and all that pollution, everything is there within us. Only our external identity is so different from us. When we just peel this, we are all the same at the end of the day. We all know that. It's just see the beauty of the Maya actually, how it has beautifully kept us 24 bar into that illusion that we are all different. Yes or no? If we peel this, everything is same within us, right? Yes or no? Everything is same. Biologically, everything is same. Spiritually, also everything is same. But how did we become different? One step ahead, my Gurunatha will say, Mala Mutra Visarjana Shariram. This is, it's full of made of mucus, blood, urine, and stool, nothing else actually. And we have so much of Abhilasha and Abhimana on the Shariram actually. Where did we even develop it actually? This is the question which we should ask ourselves, it seems. Where did we even develop this? If we next 2 days or 3 days, if we don't brush our teeth, if we don't take bath, we ourselves cannot tolerate ourselves. Yes or no? That is the shariram we have. But so much of abhimanam on this shariram, so much of abhilasha on this shariram. Where is it coming from? Tantra is asking us to ask this question. So, coming back, the Sri Chakra is very clearly talking about that there is no difference between what is called as the sacred versus the not sacred. The body, the mind, the desire, the knowledge, actions, relationships, all the resources, everything is brought to the bindu, which means what? Everything has to reach Mahatripura Sundari. Therefore, if everything has to reach Mahatripura Sundari, then that question is, are the many dimensions of my life is moving towards the center, or am I deliberately pulling it away from the center? So the Rakshasa, the karma, the negativity is nobody else. I am the one actually. We just look for XYZ reasons to put it on somebody else, something else, or some situation actually. So therefore, a sadhaka, there is no need for a sadhaka, actually a sadhaka, to fear for wealth, because when you actually worship what is called as paradevata, anybody, the Shastram is very clearly saying this very interesting thing. Anybody who worships paradevata, he or she will not sleep empty stomach for the night, it seems. It is just not possible, it seems. The Shastram is 100% guaranteeing it actually. What it is guaranteeing? That individual will not sleep empty stomach, it seems. If he or she has surrendered to Paradevata, or doing the, forget about surrender, that's a very huge term, has actually uttered the name of Paradevata, or thinking about Paradevata, or worshipping her, or offering a flower, or telling the nama or mantra, whatever it is, whether with whatever bhavana, whether Sampurna bhavana, Shuddha bhavana, quarter bhavana, half bhavana, or whatever you are, you have taken the name of Paradevata, you will not sleep empty stomach. If that is the case, then what is the fear we are all having actually? Why? Why we will not sleep empty stomach? Tell me. Will a mother allow the child to sleep empty stomach? Will any mother will allow the child to sleep empty stomach? The mother will do beg, borrow, steal to make sure that the child will eat. Yes or no? Yes or no? Your mother is not poor mother. Your mother is the richest mother in the entire universe. And you think that she cannot provide you food, which is the basic necessity. Food means I'm not talking here just for the food. Your necessities I'm talking about. You think that she will not take care of you. How she can, how we can even think about it? Because our individuality is very strong. We are suffering with our individuality. What will our Amma do for that, you tell me? Neither we are ready to become a small child and surrender to Amma, nor we are ready to become adults to understand this theory. We are constantly juggling between both. She is also seeing, okay, let me wait. When are you going to come to the right way? Let me see. Then let's do something about it. Correct or not? Yes or no? If you are actually an adult, you will understand this theory and you will implement it and you will live that life accordingly. Correct or not? Okay, I have got that clarity. The theory is saying this, therefore, this is the truth. We are not even doing that. Nor we are becoming that child completely dependent on Amma. See, either side, this is very interesting. Either you are a child, you are an adult, you are dependent on Amma only, actually. It's going there only. Any theory is taking us there only. That is the beauty of it. So, therefore, the sadhaka, if I have to conclude this, from whatever I've been speaking to you all for the past almost like 50 minutes, the sadhaka must learn to receive without arrogance, preserve without anxiety, enjoy without addiction, give without display, and relinquish without collapse. This is what I would say. If you want, I will repeat once again. Receive, number one, receive without arrogance. Number two, preserve without anxiety. Preserve without anxiety. Number three, enjoy but without addiction. Enjoy without addiction. Number four, give without display. Give without display. And relinquish without collapse. If this happens, wealth is always with you. You are always happy. And that will keep you to be a sadhaka. Thank you so much. Let me end this session now. I hope it helped all of you to think about this in a very good dimension, because all of us are working professional, including me. I'm a working professional, and we keep working and thinking on all these aspects. Let us keep working on this, and let us lead a practical spirituality without 100% hypocrisy. Thank you so much. Namaskaram, and let's finish the session with Mangalam. सर्वमङ्गलमाङ्गल्ये शिवे सर्वार्थसाधिके शरण्ये त्र्यम्बके गौरी नारायणि नमोऽस्तुते जयन्ती मङ्गला काली भद्रकाली कपालिनी दुर्गा क्षमा शिवा धात्री स्वाहा स्वधा नमोऽस्तुते ॐ शान्तिः 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 सर्वं श्री चण्डी महालक्ष्मी अर्पणमस्तु तथास्तु. Thank you. Namaskaram. Good night. See you on the next class.
Thank you, Guruji.
Shri Matre Guruji.
Thank you.
Ram Guruji. Shri Matre Namaha.
Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you, Guruji. Shri Matre Namaha.
Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you, Guruji.
Nirmala ma konja irungo.
Thank you, Guruji.